Welcome to this episode of Winning Condition, sponsored by Gatherer's Granola. This guide is designed to teach you the fundamentals of Sion, focusing on his ability to create game-winning teamfights. As an example, watch the following sequence where a well-timed use of Sion's ultimate turned a close game into a near-instant win. Two of the enemy carries simply overextended a tiny bit in lane, just enough to expose themselves, resulting in a triple kill for the friendly ADC. Let's begin with the discussion of laning, assuming you are running Sion top. I will cover the basics of trading between levels 1 and 3, then move into itemizing against specific enemies. Your objective in lane, first and foremost, is to farm up and survive until mid-game, when Sion's ultimate can contribute to winning teamfights. Here's some sage advice. Don't die in lane. At level 1, take E and max it first. This is your primary tool for harassing your enemy and pushing waves. This linear skill shot is most effective if you use it on a minion as a projectile because it dramatically increases the resulting range and damage. To aim your E, picture an imaginary line joining Sion and the enemy laner. Position Sion such that a minion perfectly intersects that imaginary line. Then fire your E. The further away your enemy is, the more you should account for the time it takes for your projectile to travel. Lead your enemy accordingly. The aiming process is made easier if you constantly position Sion as if you're about to fire your E. The slowed down footage shows a Sion player doing exactly that, maintaining the aim of his E on his target as both he and his enemy move to CS. Watch how at the last second Sion uses his E to both damage his enemy and last hit a minion. These next two clips demonstrate perfect ability rotations by Sion for maximizing damage output when trading in lane. Opening up with a slow from Sion's E makes it easier to land a fully charged Q. Sion's W both shields return damage and adds a bit of extra burst at the end of the trade. One rotation of abilities can take enemies down as much as 3/4 of their health. Once an enemy is in a weakened state, Sion has the ideal kit for harassing under towers or even diving in for the kill. If an enemy below 1/3 of health sticks around, punish them for their arrogance. This is a textbook one-on-one tower dive, where Sion gets away with a kill even after getting rooted under tower twice. This is a really good example of why you should build tanky on Sion. Let's finish up our discussion of the lane phase by covering skill order and itemization. My ideal skill order maxes E first, then Q, then W. I've seen various alternatives, and I'm sure some people can make it work, but I personally find this to be the most comfortable and effective. As far as items go, no matter what champion you face in lane, health is core to Sion's build. If you're facing a heavy AP champion, like Ryze or Rumble, picking up a Spectre's Cowl into a Banshee's Veil early is ideal. If up against a heavy AD, like Riven or Jax, a Sunfire Cape or a Randuin's Omen fits perfectly. On the damage side of the equation, I prefer a Hex Drinker against heavy AP comps, and a Frozen Gauntlet when the enemy team picks more attack damage. For boots, I prefer cooldown reduction or tenacity, both of which help Sion use more of his abilities during teamfights. After level 6, locking down high priority targets is something Sion excels at. The following few clips demonstrate how to chain Sion's prodigious CC together in order to keep an enemy from getting away over long periods of time, both in teamfights as well as in lane ganks. Because you're building tanky, you can also soak up lots of enemy abilities for your team, keeping them safe. Finally, we're getting to the heart of why I love Sion. His ultimate is one of the most disruptive in the game. A well-positioned ultimate from Sion can turn a losing game around in a heartbeat. In this team fight, Sion's teammates started without him, but by using his ultimate, not only did he make it to the fight at a critical moment, but he was able to turn the tides in his team's favor. I'm going to call this Sion Ultimate Type A, joining the team fight late. To execute these properly, it's critical to follow a few key rules. Rule 1. Let your friends know you're coming. If they can pin down an enemy for you and hold them still for your ultimate, that's ideal. Rule 2. Straight lines. Sion's ultimate is hard to control, so make sure you get a straight shot without anything in your way like walls or towers. Rule 3. Aim for groups. It will help win more team fights if you hit more than one enemy with your ultimate. If you have to aim for only one, make it an enemy carry. Sion Ultimate Type B is the opposite from Type A. This is where you initiate fights on your own using your ultimate. Exactly the same rules apply. Tell your mates you're coming, avoid walls and towers, and aim for groups. Type B is more difficult than Type A because you have to know exactly when to execute your ultimate. Look for enemy carries to overextend beyond the safety net of their team. Here's a second look at that same game-winning ultimate. Sion bides his time, avoiding obstacles like towers, waits for his enemies to group up, tells his team he's coming, and then pops his ultimate. Here is another Type B ultimate example. Sion's team has the potential to catch the enemy with a quick rotation. Sion goes ham, threading his way through the jungle on a very high-risk move, just clipping the enemy ADC and earning his team a power play. Avoiding walls in the jungle like this takes a ton of practice. I would not recommend it if you're new to Sion. Sion's ultimates can also be used in extremely short-range situations. We're going to call these Type C. Only use Type C ultimates when it's absolutely necessary or guarantees a team fight win. Short-range ultimates don't pack nearly as much damage as they do from long range. In this example, Sion's ultimate was too good to pass up on, regardless of the range, as it catches the enemy ADC and secures the Baron. Finally, there is a Sion Ultimate Type D. These are almost never a good idea, as they're designed exclusively to scare people into blowing long-duration cooldowns. This one example is especially funny because the enemy had Banshee's Veil and still flashed away. It paid off in the end because Sion soaked up most of the enemy's cooldowns that might otherwise have been used on his team. The result is a big W. That wraps it up for this winning condition Sion guide. To summarize a few key takeaway points in parting: build tanky, farm up, and don't die in lane. Use your ultimate to catch multiple enemies, and always let your team know that you're coming. Thank you to Gatherer's Granola for sponsoring this video. Here is a coupon code for their products on Amazon. Thank you for watching this episode of Winning Condition. If you have any recommendations or constructive feedback, please comment below or email me at winningcondition@gmail.com. If you have clips that you would like to see in a future Winning Condition video, please email me a link and keep your original recorded game on hand.